Hey, what's up, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in today's video. Today I want to discuss the question, is technique even that important? And in particular, is getting a smooth wash even that important in watercolor painting? Now, the idea I got was from this painting where from afar it looks quite realistic, but if I hold it up close, you see there's a big mess in terms of the technique. It's just a lot of small glazes, one on top of or next to one another. And if you compare it to something like this that is a little smoother, what gives? Which approach is the right one, or is there even a right one? So we're going to take it to the table and discuss this, and I'm going to show you paintings not by me as well to further strengthen my point.
So let's look at these two again. Now, first one, if you look at it from, again, afar, you do get a nice sense of light and shadow. I think it reads really, really well. It's a car basically parked under some trees. And again, if you look at the technique up close, of course, it's very impressionistic, but in addition to that, there's a lot of overlapping washes, and the technique isn't really on point in that regard. You could paint this just by observing every area and putting a bit of a paint there and then a bit of a paint here and letting it dry and then doing the same thing again and again and again until you get the desired result. Is it smooth? Is it graceful? Not necessarily, but it gets the job done, because from afar this one is beautiful and I really, really love it. Now if you compare it to this one again, and I have another example, these two are much more carefully thought in terms of this is going to be my wash. So I'm filling it up, it's relatively smooth. It does get that beautiful impression as well, and this one very well planned. Here's my area, I'm going to fill it up, skip the highlights, do most of the details wet in wet so that there's good flow, including the background as well. So when you hold these two one next to another, there is a pretty strong difference in technique. But my point is that it's not as important. Again, the technique itself, or how flowy or smooth or even the wash is, it's just not as important. What is important is your vision as an artist. That's an overarching perhaps criteria that no matter the medium you use, if you have a good interpretation of the subject, which there are endless of ways of doing that, there isn't just one correct way, but if you have a good interpretation of the subject, if you manage to capture its essence in one of the endless ways that it is possible to do so, it will look good, and it doesn't matter what technique took you on that path. Okay, now I'm going to set all of my works aside, and I'm going to show you a work. Now, unfortunately, I don't know how to pronounce this artist's name. I know they're Swedish. All I have is an Instagram account, which I will link to, and I will contact them and let them know just out of curiosity. But I want to show you this work, which is like the rocks and some water splashing against that. And if you look at the technique here, again, very messy in a way, very all over the place. A lot of splashes. Don't get distracted by these. These are just kind of means for compositional means, it seems. But even the large shapes are composed of a lot of different glazes and small shapes and large shapes, and they all overlap transparently. So that's one way of approaching it. Now let me compare this with a different one of this beautiful landscape or seascape, I don't know what you want to call it, and even the plane, everything is so smooth. Everything is really, I don't want to say carefully thought out, because you can do a messier work where it's still thought out, but everything is more connected and even and fluid. So again, I don't think one is superior over another. And I will explain how important this is now as we wrap this up. So here's the main takeaway that I wish you take from this, but again, feel free to take from it what you will. What I think is, again, the technique itself, don't let that hinder your motivation or even your ambition to paint something more complex, to paint something that seems to you outside your level. Don't think about it this way. Think about it in a way of you're practicing. So take a big detailed reference photo, paint it large, and don't worry about getting everything smooth. Just worry about what's in this area. Is it light? Is it dark? What's the kind of color or temperature? And get it down there. Kind of like I did here. Okay, don't be concerned with, now I have to really plan everything out so that I know exactly what I'm going to cover in this wash. No. Forget about that. The technique you are practicing is mixing the right color and the right value. So that can be argued to be the only technique that's really necessary. How you apply the paint to paper
is something you will learn to become more efficient and effective at. You will learn how to slowly notice more connections than you would have in the past, and you will do beautiful things. You'll surprise yourself. Oh, I would have never thought of that in the past. Yes, that will come with time, but don't let that stop you from practicing. Simply getting the right color in the right value, in the right shape, in the right place, because that's the bread and butter of painting, I believe. And it's a way of executing your vision that doesn't require you to do everything perfectly. And again, take a few steps back. I love this one. I love the sense of light and shadow here. I think it even has more character than some of my other pieces that are more flowy and all of that. So have that in mind. Main takeaway, don't let that stop you from feeling fully motivated and feeling the ambition to tackle harder subjects. It will connect with time. What I want you to do is actually practice and do this. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts in a comment down below. Is this something you've struggled with? Does this solve it for you? I'm really curious to hear your feedback. If you're still unsubscribed, be sure to subscribe. Please like this video if you can. It helps it reach more people, and I will see you again real soon.